An official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next two fighters, Brandon Hendley and then Kody Papasan to the cage.
Back-to-back wins, trying to make it a trio. Here is Brandon Hendley. David, a larger body but moves and unloads like a lightweight. A high IQ out of Meridian, Idaho.
Yeah, he is definitely very athletic, bouncy. You guys are going to see in a minute. And I think this is the perfect weight class for him because he's a smaller heavyweight but like a massive light heavyweight. So I think the 225 cruiserweight is perfect.
Yeah, began fighting in March of 2022, and despite a slow start, has begun to turn his amateur record around. He's won 2 straight in MMA.
Yeah, and he just is crazy solid on the feet. Looks really strong. Every punch is just with a ton of power, as well as his grappling is very well-rounded as well.
Yeah, rapid instincts, holds that wide stance very well, and is always looking for that off button.
Yeah. He's kind of your prototypical, like, when you think of a big old MMA fighter, this is kind of the type of dude you think of.
I will mention Brandon Hendley did lose a kickboxing bout in March of last year, but again, in the small gloves, been very successful. A kickboxer by trade, but really started to develop his grappling when he got to Legacy MMA again in Meridian, Idaho. Brandon Hendley, the record is 2-2. Some of the biggest bodies we've got on this entire card. Very excited to see the knockout power potentially between them.
Yeah, I mean, after what we've witnessed for the past 5 fights, this one should probably be a banger too.
Long time since he stepped foot in the Mount America Center. Now back to the building blocks for Kody Papasan. David, a guy with a strong backing in wrestling, but his hands did the talking in his first amateur win from 2023.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on the Fierce Fighting Championship app or if it was with a different promotion, but you need to look up his knockout. It is lights out.
Stepped away after his loss in April of 2023. Felt it was about time for him to get back into action, which brings him here tonight more so than anything, just motivated to get back to training and competing.
And he's a part of a pretty good team too, Lionheart MMA. They, for years, have come down to Utah to compete with all the guys down there, and I know they're a very solid team with a lot of great training.
So far, 2-0 on the day. Papasan, the third. All right, over to 225 for this one. Similar in age, just a 1-year gap, and identical in stature as well. Hendley, lighter last night by a pound, as a 1-1 record, stares across at a 2-2 record. Inside to cue the combat is Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the amateur cruiserweight division. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 2 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 221 pounds. Fighting out of Legacy MMA, hailing from Houston, Texas, by way of Nampa, Idaho, the Boogeyman, Brandon Hendley. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 1 loss. He also stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 222 pounds. Fighting out of Team Lionheart MMA, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho, Kody Papasan. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Dave Selyestedt.
A cruiserweight clash made possible by Watkins Distributing, putting your business first for over 30 years. Brandon Hendley looks for 3 straight in blue gloves. Kody Papasan returns in red gloves. "100% finish rate thus far. A 2-pack of prelims still to go. This one at 225.
Digging the hot sauce shorts? Is that what that is?
Not sure exactly what you're alluding to.
Hendley has some pretty cool equipment for tonight.
Quick blitz by Papasan. He'll wipe his eye.
It looks like there might have been an accidental eye poke, but, you know, the referee needs to be the one to actually stop the action. If not, they need to keep fighting.
Papasan closes distance. Hendley able to weather the storm.
Yeah, you're kind of seeing a little bit of a difference between these guys. Hendley, he's bouncing around, you know, very bouncy style, kind of in and out, whereas Papasan's a little more, you know, back and forth, forward and backwards. Both very talented, though.
Hendley tees off. Deep bag of tricks with that spinning kick.
A back kick at cruiserweight. That just shows his athleticism.
Like mentioned, he unloads like a lightweight. Certainly doesn't strike similar to his size. So athletic out of the fighter from Meridian, Idaho.
He looked like a Taekwondo black belt right there. I like how Papasan, though, is he's still throwing to the legs, lower extremities, because that's going to pay dividends in the later rounds if it goes there. You're seeing that Hendley keeps putting his fingers out. You know, that's kind of a little more of an amateur thing. Dave Selyustad not having it, though.
So attentive, leading the dance thus far is Brandon Hendley.
And just watch how he's moving his
Looks like a little bit below the belt. Brandon Hendley immediately reacts to that one, David.
Yeah, that was pretty flush.
Quick warning on the side of Dave Selyustad.
But the reason why that happened is Hendley was doing a great job of switching his stance. You'll see that he switches his stance right here. I'm sure Papasan was trying to hit the lead leg, but ended up kind of going right in the middle.
Looks like the angle wasn't quite there, but immediately Papasan puts out his hand.
Yeah. Well, it was tough. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, he was doing a great job of switching his stance. You know, he would be in the orthodox stance throwing his combo, then he'd swing back to southpaw, throw the hook, and it's really hard when you're aiming kind of for that lead leg when it switches from the left to the right leg, you know, and sometimes that can happen.
Still getting his bearings. Looks like we got it one more time.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. Hendley does not look like he's having a fun time, though.
And how show-stopping can that be for a guy who really did have a lot of wind in his sail to start off the round?
Yeah, you know, it's never fun as a fighter when you're kind of like finding your flow state or you're finding your zone, and then, you know, one of these fouls happens. And obviously, I don't think it was intentional or anything, but it definitely does suck when you're like potentially going to be able to finish the fight or win the round, you know, and everything has to stop.
Got Kody Papasan trying to stay warm, trying to stay upright and just get back into this action. Hendley is back up, under a minute to go, round one.
Yeah, Hendley's struggling. This is, I mean, it was pretty bad, so it's pretty fair.
And also mentioning Papasan, such a possessor of power, the way in which he throws strikes. They are all trying to finish the fight in one way or another.
Yeah, you kind of see the difference in, like, their styles, you know. Hendley is kind of all over the place, like someone my size, you know, whereas Papasan really kind of sits down on a lot of his strikes.
Back to it.
Well, I appreciate the sportsmanship from both guys.
Quick closing of distance. Papasan brings out his wrestling bag. Hendley keeps it up tight.
Yeah, Papasan had a great shot there, but Hendley is just really strong for that position. And it's hard when you're just not able to get the hips. Both these guys have landed nasty leg kicks. And a head kick, too.
Nice snipe by Hendley as well.
He's just doing a fantastic job of switching stance. I mean, he almost looks like a TJ Dillashaw, or if you're a fierce fan of Joel Haro in there at cruiserweight, though. 225.
Clear-cut high kick form moments ago. Another combination to close out round number 1.
Yeah, he did a great job in that last exchange of throwing a kick on one side and then throwing the hand on the same side. So quick for his size.
I'll be completely honest with you, David. I don't know if I've seen a striking skill set that deep of a guy his size. As for Kody Papasan, he has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I think Papasan just needs to be a little more patient. He was doing a great job of kicking the lower leg of Hendley, and I think he needs to continue to do that and then kind of corral him to set him up for that snipe.
Also, we'll mention the wrestling background that he has. As for Hendley, how rare is it to see this type of guy? The way in which he's moving, like you mentioned, Joel Haro, TJ Dillashaw, these are 135ers you're talking about. 100 pounds heavier is the guy on your screen right now.
No, Hendley is like a really fun fighter. I remember watching film in preparation for this and just being blown away by the amount of movement that he has in the cage. And he has a good gas tank on him, too, for his size.
Been to the decision once in his career is Hendley. Only the second time in our first 6 fights that we will go to a round number 2. Papasan chokes up on the canvas. Dave Sellystead sends him back, and we'll start it up.
Yeah, I want to see how the body language in each of these fighters change. Papasan's looking a little wide-eyed, but he is throwing back.
Both guys looking for that kill shot.
Great throw for Papasan. I think Papasan's landing a little bit more this round. Kind of has Hendley on the back foot.
Some blood coming from the beak of Kody Papasan. We got another low blow.
Oh, the other way, though.
Idaho Falls crowd vents their frustration. Papasan very open, talking about where he's at, but you never like to see that in back-to-back rounds.
You know, it's sometimes difficult, especially the amount that they were moving back and forth. It changes the range, right? So in one moment, Hendley was in the correct range to throw that inside kick, and then in the next moment, yeah, it kind of landed in the wrong place.
Moving targets, always going to be a part of this sport, no doubt about it. Kody Papasan now in a world of pain, evened up at 1 apiece, David.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think it's a fair ball game at this point.
Another stop in the action. Had one in round number 1. Now have one in round number 2.
You know, when you think of it, though, and almost like, you know, unintentionally, it makes this fight very interesting because they're having these bigger breaks. You know, it allows for a lot more explosion. So we'll kind of see if these guys can come out swinging.
All even. Hendley, quick out of the break.
I mean, the pace that these guys are going at their size is just extraordinary, right? And obviously the pauses in the action kind of help. Hendley with a fantastic switch kick.
So fast with it. Nice combination to follow.
You hear Papasan's corner saying a little more motivational type stuff right now. Just kind of trying to will him through this fight.
His first fight since April of 2023. Again, it has been a long layoff after a loss up in Montana.
You can kind of see what Papasan's trying to do. He's trying to kind of stand his ground. And another one.
A second offense. You got to start wondering if a point deduction is imminent.
Could be.
Some blood now spews down. Dave Sellystead will take the time to clean it up. In a world of pain is Kody Papasan after a second strike below the belt. Brandon Hendley, the aggressor.
What's frustrating is this fight has been awesome. And it just keeps getting paused, you know.
And this time around, Hendley seated for a few moments. Let's take another look.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You know, these guys are just kind of moving in and out. Straight back, too, you're more likely to hit the groin. Oh, interesting.
Dave Selystead will take a point, and that is a massive momentum shift for a guy like Brandon Hendley, who has been doing so well through the first 2 rounds.
I mean, I'm not as great as the judges next to us, but I probably would have had it for Hendley at least up to this point. You know, he was definitely landing more. This definitely changes the dynamic of the fight. If it's a tied-up round or potentially different, you know, could it be something else?
Papasan still not 100% by any means, still wincing.
I mean, obviously you're wearing a cup, right? But, like, it's still a lot of damage, and, you know, to your lower organs and intestines, especially for people who, like, you know, us fighters, we have a certain diet. We have all these different changes, you know, especially if you're cutting weight. Like, it can really affect you to get kicked.
Also the power in which it's happening with these two guys, the mere size alone, and the speed in which Brandon Hendley is striking as well. 2 of those inside of 3 minutes will take down just about anybody.
And I think if you're Hendley, you just got to stay focused. You know, obviously it sucks to lose a point, but you got to still win this fight and not leave it to the scorecards in this situation, you know, or not leave anything to chance. Papasan's not looking great, though, shaking his head. His corner's not looking too happy either. We're talking to the doctor now.
Our cage side physician, Doc Murdoch, talking through the cage. We'll see if it opens up. There is a 5-minute limit. We don't know the exact time on it, but Doc Murdoch has stepped away from the cage, for those who don't have that angle. Papasan looks like he wants to say green light. Nearing the halfway point of round 2.
I think Dave just made a gentleman's agreement that kicks above the waist for the rest of the fight.
Outside kick to open up for Hendley.
Papasan still got some pop on him, though.
Quick pause in action between the two. Quick conversation. Looks like it might have grazed more than anything.
Yeah, if I'm Hendley, I'm not taking chances. I'm kicking the outside or up towards the head.
Papasan pause that one out. He'll land.
Now, Papasan has an interesting way. He definitely pauses punches. He kind of throws them with the tops of his knuckles. And he's just struggling with Hendley's speed and power, honestly. I mean, can't even get to the clinch or a takedown.
Supremely athletic is Brandon Hendley. With about 30 seconds remaining in round number 2, you got to wonder about scorecards if we have 3.5 more minutes of action, what that looks like with the point deduction, David.
Yeah, and it's difficult. These are kind of the situations where, yeah, you really can't leave it to the judges because it really does affect the scoring in a 10-9 must system.
More bruising kicks on the side of Hendley. Straight through the guard of Papasan.
Papasan's almost looking like a deer in the headlights a little bit, just kind of frozen.
And how much of that can be damage accrued over the past 3 minutes with 2 low blows?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a partially that, but also, like, Hendley's just doing a good job of hitting him in the face, you know, over and over, different angles, switching his stance. I think he's kind of having a hard time, you know, system overload of knowing what's coming.
It has been pause and go thus far through 6 minutes of MMA action, a whole lot in between it as well. Brandon Hendley heads to a 3rd round. Kody Papasan, he's in the 3rd round as well, and again, a lot longer time away from the cage. As for Hendley, he did fight in November of last year. Papasan hunched over in his corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big factor. The ring rust is kind of real, and that activity really is important too.
We'll note this, Papasan down from heavyweight in this one. He was 255 when he fought here 3 years ago, 222 on the dish last night.
Yeah.
Dave Selystead giving stern warnings Doesn't want any more pauses in the action for any illegal strikes. Third and final round we go.
Yeah, I mean, Hendley's clearly the fresher fighter, but Papasan has the power to finish it with one punch. His corner, Papasan's corner, is just going berserker right now, begging him to sling the leather.
Clean connection on the chin by Kody Papasan just moments ago. Hendley absolutely ate it.
Yeah, you're starting to see some bigger breaths from Hendley, but he's doing a good job. I mean, right now he is in an open stance, switching back and forth, making it really difficult for Papasan to kind of follow.
Unbelievable gas tank by Hendley to still have
Yeah.
so much pop on every single shot. He gets another one there. The Idaho Falls crowd loves it.
Yeah, I definitely want to pick his brain after this fight and see what type of conditioning he's doing, because at his size, and I mean, he looks like a strong guy too. Does a great job. But Papasan's not out of this. I mean, he's still coming forward, has his eye on the prize, and straight punches just like that are kind of going through the guard.
Papasan takes more damage. So much blood coming through those nostrils now, David.
Yeah, that one might have broke his nose. It looked like it popped pretty bad.
Beautiful return by Papasan.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a classic. Papasan's throwing the one big one. Hendley's throwing the combinations. But what I like from Hendley is he's lining up his rear hand and just darting punches down the pipe. Whereas Papasan, has a little longer reach and is able to still get those shots off, but it's kind of one at a time versus 2 and 3.
55 ticks to go. Round number 3, as we will potentially see scorecards for the first time this evening.
I mean, at this point, Hendley's just doing more volume as well, and that's a factor.
Idaho Falls absolutely backs their local fighters. What a war it has been between these two at 225. Papasan steps inside for a couple of connections late.
They're going to come to the middle. Let's see what happens.
What a fight. Out of gas at the end for the two, but unbelievable output through 9 minutes.
Both fighters, I mean, Papasan just showed his grit and his toughness. Like, that was a tough fight for him. And Hendley, I mean, looked honestly like a real talent.
Same can be said about Kody Papasan, who had some big moments, especially late there, David. Some of those strikes really went through the guard of Brandon Hendley. He looked good as well. We'll have to see what the Idaho State Athletic Commission has to say.
And that's the real question is, like, what is a judge looking at? Because some of those shots from Papasan were nasty. He got the extra point earlier in the second round. So, like, who knows where this fight can land.
All smiles from Brandon Hendley. He thinks he's gotten it done, barring that point deduction. Nick Mansholder, Nicola Prevost in his corner alongside Zach Partridge as well. His fierce debut, but a guy that I think a lot of Utah fans are going to want to see again.
Oh, yeah, this guy is definitely at the top of my list for people I want to watch moving forward, especially at the bigger weight classes.
A win would be 3 in a row for him. It would be a second decision. Again, scorecards being tallied at the moment, so a little bit of a delay. But the judges here, as well as those in Utah, have been pretty synchronous throughout this year, really finding common ground. It's been basically identical in terms of the judges' scorecards the entire year of 2026 thus far.
Yeah, speaking to some of the judges earlier, they were saying that they have full synergy, that every single round they've been scoring the exact same, which is a very special thing, meaning that our judges are very well prepared for this type of event.
They will be down at Crown Fighting Championship in St. George tomorrow evening as well, not to mention Dave Selyusted and Tyler Tomlinson as well. Kody Papasan looked really solid as well, David, for his first fight in 2.5 years.
No, I think this really showed his grit, and both of these men should be proud.
All right, questions set to become answers. Into the center, we've got hopes.
Fierce fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 29-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, the Boogeyman, Brandon Hendley.
3 in a row for Brandon Hendley. Incredible win by him off of those scorecards. More Fierce Fighting Championship 46 right after this.